Welcome to the PSID web tutorial on intergenerational transfers. To begin, let's go over what you can expect to learn. This tutorial has 4 parts. We'll begin with background on studying intergenerational transfers within the PSID. We'll continue with an overview of the 2013 Rosters and Transfers module, a description of the family level file and the parent-child file, and we'll close with an explanation of how to download the files and documentation and how to link these files to other PSID files. Let's start with a brief overview of the PSID and the current ways in which intergenerational transfers are covered in the PSID.
Begun in 1968, the PSID is the world's longest-running national household panel survey. Although the initial focus of the PSID was on family income, content areas have been expanded over time to include many new topics, including transfers of time and money from one generation in a family to another. As of 2017, reference person has replaced the term head. However, this change is not retroactive. Since the Rosters and Transfers module was collected in 2013 prior to this change, we will continue to use the term head in this tutorial. Please see the web tutorial, Introduction to the Panel Study of Income Dynamics, if you would like more information about this change.
The roughly 18,000 individuals in the 1968 families have what is called the PSID gene, meaning that they are eligible to be followed and re-interviewed. In addition, all individuals born to or adopted by someone with the gene acquire the gene themselves and are eligible to be followed as they form their own households. Please note that this is only true for families who adopt children that they're not related to. Following children of sample members maintains the PSID's representation and facilitates the study of outcomes across generations. This design feature implies that the study provides data on a sample of extended families or dynasties. Shown in gray is an original PSID family consisting of 2 parents, 1 adult daughter, and a minor son. The adult daughter was not in the household at the time the sample was drawn, and is therefore not considered part of the sample. This is noted on the diagram by the fact that the daughter does not have a G attached to her. When the son marries, his wife and their 3 children become part of the PSID sample, with the 3 children acquiring the PSID gene. His wife's ex-husband and daughter are not interviewed, although the PSID learns about her daughter's existence in the new head-wife section of her first interview. If the son were to divorce and his now ex-wife would move out of the PSID household, she would not be followed because she does not have the PSID gene, unless their children, who do have the gene, were living in her new household. In this case, she would continue to be followed as a member of the sample. When their daughter marries and has her own child, her husband and child would become part of the sample. So for this family, there are 4 generations with PSID sample persons shown in the oval. Intergenerational samples can be used to study transfers between parents and adult children. For instance, currently, the PSID has over 4,500 pairs of parents and adult children. For many PSID sample members, self-reported information is currently available on 3 or even 4 generations within the same family dynasty at various points in their life course. To create genealogic samples, the PSID provides data users with the Family Identification Mapping System tool, or FIMS. A separate web tutorial explains how to use FIMS. In each wave since 1968, the PSID has asked respondents whether household heads or spouses received financial help from someone outside the household in the prior year. In 1988, a module specific to transfers was collected, which included a more detailed set of questions on transfers of time and money in the prior year. Respondents were asked about time and money given to and received from parents, and then separately about transfers to others outside the household. Enough detail was collected so that users could link to other PSID respondents and broaden the scope of their analyses. In 2013, with funding from the National Institute on Aging, the PSID added a module to roster living children and parents so that transfers could be linked to specific family members. In addition, the transfers module was expanded to capture short-term transfers to and from parents and children, as well as long-term economic transfers from parents. First, we'll describe the motivation for the 2013 Family Rosters module, and then the companion 2013 Transfers module. Returning to the figure depicting multiple generations in the PSID, we see that some family members are not covered. The fact that non-gened family members enter and exit the study through their attachment to gene members leaves gaps in information for some family members. For example, if the second-generation son gets married, the PSID contains information on health and economic status of his parents because they themselves are sample members, but not detailed information on the health and economic status of his spouse's parents. Similarly, if a gened respondent marries someone with children, the stepchildren are not considered gened, nor are they followed when they leave the gened respondent's home. Also, very little information is available for second-generation adult children who are not part of their parents' household when the study began. The 2013 Family Rosters module addresses these shortcomings by collecting a core set of information about all living children and parents, including stepchildren and stepparents, for all heads and spouses, including cohabiting partners. The 2013 Family Roster module collects a standard set of information about all family members, including those who do not have the PSID gene, such as stepchildren and non-resident children. These new data will therefore provide a more complete enumeration of parents and children in the family network. The design also provides information on sample members lost to follow-up. For each biologic or adoptive parent of heads, and if applicable wives, PSID asks about age, general health status, work status, marital status including cohabitation, city and state released on a restricted file under contract, home ownership, and income in categories. Relationship to either head or wife is also recorded. For each child of heads, and if applicable wives, PSID asks about month and year of birth, which is released as age, education, work status, marital status including cohabitation, number of children, city and state released on restricted file, home ownership, and categorical income measures. Relationship to head, and if applicable wife, is also recorded. The 2013 Transfers module expands upon the 1988 Time and Money Transfers module by asking respondents to report for heads and wives time and money transfers in the last year to and from parents and to and from children. These questions ask about giving related to time as well as money given as gifts or loans or to help with schooling, purchasing a home, or other expenses. Follow-up questions then ask about specific transfers with parent units and children, which are selected from the rosters, providing a link between the rosters and transfers data. The 2013 Rosters and Transfers module was released in two files, the family level file and the parent-child file. The family level file contains information at the family level for heads and, if applicable, wives in 2013. The parent-child file contains roster and transfer information already linked for users for specific parent units and children of 2013 heads and wives. The family level file combines information collected in the rosters transfer sections of the 2013 PSID. The file includes summary information on the family structure, short-term transfers in the last year to and from parents and children, and long-term transfers from parents and to children. The family level file includes summary information on transfers with parent units in the last year. Separate variables indicate any transfer in the last year, and if so, the amount summed across parent units, and an indicator of completeness of the amount for the following transfers with one or more parent units. Separate variables indicate any long-term transfer from parents to the head and, if relevant, the wife, since the age of 18, including help they received for schooling, purchasing a home, or other financial help. In addition, for long-term transfers from parent units, the family level file includes information on which parents provided the transfer. The information is on the family level file instead of the parent unit child file because long-term transfers may have come from a parent unit that differs from those on the parent unit child file. For instance, a head's biologic mother and father may have helped with a home purchase many years ago, but the head's current biologic mother may now be remarried to the head's stepfather. In order to avoid linking long-term transfers to an incorrect parent unit, this information was left in its original form on the family level file. The family level file also includes summary information on short-term and long-term transfers with children. These separate child variables indicate any transfer in the last year, including time and money both given to or received by children, amounts summed over children, and indicators of amount completeness. The family level file also includes summary information on long-term transfers from heads and, if applicable, wives to children, including help they gave for schooling, purchasing a home, and other financial help. Additional details about transfers are available in the parent-child file. The parent-child file combines information collected in the roster's transfer sections onto records representing family members of heads and wives in the roster and transfer family level file. There are two types of records on the file. The first type of record has information about a head's or wife's parent unit. A parent unit can either be a single parent, a parent and his or her spouse, or a parent and his or her cohabiting partner. The second type of record has information about a head's or wife's biologic, adopted, or stepchild. Because many parallel questions were asked about parent units and children in the roster and transfer module, they can be combined into one file. There's a variable that distinguishes between parent unit records and child records. To determine the kind of record, the parent-child file includes several variables. The first, variable RT13V70, indicates whether the record is a parent unit or child, where the child is coded as 1 and the parent unit is coded as 2. Variable RT13V71 provides more detailed information on parent unit records, indicating whether this record is for both the mother and father, the father only, the mother only, the father and new spouse or partner, or the mother and new spouse or partner, and further distinguishes whether the parent units reported are the head's or the wife's, as applicable. Child and parent records each have an additional variable that indicates the relationship to head and, if applicable, wife. These are variables RT13V77 and RT13V78. Please note for children in households with both a head and wife, relationship to both head and wife is collected, whereas for parent units, only relationship to either head or wife is available. For each parent unit and child record, the characteristics of the parent unit or child are included along with the time and money exchanged in the last year with the head and wife. Because the roster characteristics and transfer questions for parents and children were designed to be very similar, many child and parent-specific variables are combined into variables that apply to both children and parents. For example, income variables include responses to these questions for both parent units and children. Short-term transfer questions have also been combined in this way. There are two age variables. The first identifies the age of either the child or the first parent, and the second identifies the age of the second parent, if there is one. If the parent unit consists of a head or wife's biologic or adopted parents, the first parent is always the father and the second parent is always the mother. If the parent unit is anything else, for instance, a single or remarried parent unit, the biologic or adopted parent information is captured in the set of first parent variables. The data are available as zipped supplemental files as well as in the online data center. To locate these files, let's begin on the PSID's homepage, psid.org.
We will navigate to the Data Selection tab in the menu that appears at the bottom of the PSID banner that runs across the top of the page. Click on the Package Data link, followed by the Main and Supplemental Studies link. The tree on the right side of the page contains zip files for all of the supplemental studies, including the Rosters and Transfers study. If you select the 2013 Rosters and Transfers option, the zip file will begin to download. The zip file contains two data files in text format, with setup programs to read the data into SAS, SPSS, or Stata. It also contains a codebook for each data file and supporting documentation. The Rosters and Transfers data have also been integrated into the Online Data Center. We'll navigate from this page directly to the Online Data Center by clicking on the Data Center link in the Quick Links sidebar, which will bring up the options for selecting variables. Rosters and Transfers variables are currently available using the Search, File, and Variable List options. For more information, please see the web tutorial, Accessing and Downloading PSID Data. Please note that you will need to log into the website in order to download files.
Both the family level file and the parent-child file contain the 2013 Family Interview ID number, the 1968 ID, and person number for the head and the wife, if applicable. In addition, the parent-child file has IDs and relationship to head and, if applicable, to the wife, for biologic and adopted parents and children. These IDs are linkable to the PSID's Parent Identification, PID file, by their 1968 ID and person number. Finally, To link the family level file to the parent-child file, both files contain a unique key. This key also corresponds to the 2013 Family Interview ID number, variable ER53002, and to the yearly interview number, ER34201, on the cross-year individual file. Each parent unit and child is generated from the family level record. Thus, it is possible for the same child to appear twice on the file if their biologic or adopted parents are in different family units and if both are still in the PSID. It is also possible for the same parent unit to appear multiple times in the file, once for each of their adult children in the PSID. Just as the files can be linked to one another, they can also be linked to the main PSID family level and individual level files. This slide indicates the variables that correspond across files and for whom. For more information on these variables, and for additional frequently asked questions, please see the Rosters and Transfers Final File Description PDF, located in the Rosters and Transfers zip file. This web tutorial was produced by Nora Insalera and Vicki Friedman with funding from the National Institute on Aging. The diagram depicting the PSID's multi-generational structure was developed by Judith Seltzer for a May 2013 presentation on changing social structures and the meaning of household in federal surveys to the Committee on National Statistics. The 2013 Rosters and Transfers module was developed by Suzanne Bianchi, Robert Cheney, Judith Seltzer, Emily Wiemers, Joseph Hutz, and Vicki Friedman with funding from the National Institute on Aging. This tutorial is dedicated to our friend and colleague, Suzanne Bianchi. This ends the web tutorial on intergenerational transfers in the PSID. Comments and questions may be sent to psidhelp@umich.edu.